Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order at 5:30. We officially have quorum and we can get started, so we can get out of here to an press record. Are we being recorded?
Yes.
Okay.
You were
Let's
on
start
it.
with the Pledge of Allegiance. Will everyone please stand? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's going.
You're already finished?
With me,
I can call, or you can call. However, okay, I'll call. Amber Ava Hinojosa here, Sylvia Bruni, absent, Miriam Castillo.
Here.
Rosa Maria de Llano.
Here.
Esther Pirova.
She just called and she was on her way.
Okay. Marie Gonzalez.
Here.
Jessica Ontiveros Villarreal. Sylvia Palumbo.
Here.
Priscilla Pantoja. Guadalupe Ramirez.
Here.
Maxine Reveles. Maria Antoneta Reyes.
Here.
Diana Rodriguez.
Here.
Maria Yvette Romero.
Here.
And Martha Ray Martinez. Okay, we officially have quorum.
Yeah. Very good.
Does anybody have any public comments? No? You should have the October 18th and November 8th minutes. I'll give you a few minutes to look over them. We did not have quorum in the last meeting on November 8th,
No
so
quorum.
they're blank.
Okay.
But you can go ahead and review the October 18th minutes.
Oh, so these are for the ones for September,
for
okay?
October.
I mean, October, perdón. Okay, what are the, okay. I'd like to make a motion, Madam Chair, to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Estoy en una
Motion by Sylvia Palumbo and seconded by Diana Rodriguez. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, I'll take that one.
So the next item on the agenda is
Sí.
the Women's Hall of Fame. As of right now, we haven't received any applications, which is kind of scary because by the time we meet again, we should have applications. But like I've said before, a lot of people might not even know about what the Hall of Fame is or how to access the application. And so it's up to us to really promote it in our groups and our networks. And we have less than a month before the deadline. So the deadline is January 5th. The application is very accessible on the City of Laredo website. We have our own little spot on the main page. And the other thing is that I'm probably gonna have a baby by the next meeting. So I'm really gonna need y'all to bring those applications in and meet and carry that through because I don't know if I'm gonna be here that week.
What did you do?
I'm due on the 17th, but like on the 10th when we meet, I have a doctor's appointment that day.
Yes,
Yeah.
come that day.
Yeah, so I might not be at the next meeting unless he comes in here. The biggest thing is that we pull in those applications because we have to meet immediately. So the deadline is the 5th, we meet on the 10th, and then the committee, the selection committee needs to meet, right after, starting on the 11th. And we need to identify, who, we've already discussed who's on the selection committee, but what time works for y'all so that we can reserve the conference room because we have to meet here on the premises and make sure that everyone can meet, you know, consecutively until we find our honorees.
Yes. I want to commend Ms. Reyes. Es que María Antonieta Reyes, and it was you and her, right, that went into the council? No.
The video.
The video on the.
Yes, Rosa Maria and Sylvia Brunia as well.
I know that I saw you and you were explaining on the news, no?
Oh, yes, on the news, yeah.
It was
We went on the news.
The video that we always do?
Yes.
Yeah, well, no, we
The video
went
was
to an
different.
interview,
Yeah.
yes.
That was the interview, but the
Untitled
video was
Chapter.
different, yes.
Yeah, bueno, I saw Ms. Reyes and Amber. I haven't seen the.
No, it's a video that we did
The
a
video-
commercial. It was
Like
very
what we
nice.
normally
I
do.
like it.
The commercial.
The
¿En
commercial
qué
was-
sale? ¿En dónde sale?
It's on
Yo no lo he visto.
Facebook and it's on the city Facebook, it should be on our personal Facebooks as well. And it's on the city website, so you can watch the video on there.
And I know because of experience, ladies, and I know that Janet can vouch for it, we've gone through this before and no entran las aplicaciones unless we promote it. Unless you all say, you know, yo conozco a alguien, déjame decirles que si acaso somebody.
If you know of anybody that is worthy to.
I mean, it's not like we're gonna be overwhelmed with people wanting to be.
Is there an official flyer that we can have access to, like an easy?
The application is like its own flyer.
Okay,
It's
just the application.
Yeah,
Put it
just
to
the
record
application.
Because we also make commercials when we're doing them. I know I did. I went to the radio stations, TV stations, and it was promoted through the internet.
Yes.
But eventually, it's gonna be up to
It's
all of us
up
to
to
get
us.
this
Yeah.
application.
We might
in.
ask maybe the news if they could do a little.
Yes,
Yes.
so,
With this-
what's her name?
We only have a couple of weeks.
The communications director said that she was sending it over, but I haven't, Noraida, but it hasn't actually made it there. And she said that she was gonna make a sound clip for the station and it hasn't made it there yet.
I will send it out
So-
to the different business associations
Yes,
and
if
see
you
if,
could
you know,
please.
yeah, sure.
Because, I
Send it
mean, for all the different categories.
Yeah, send it to whoever you know.
You know, I don't know
whatever
if
group you know.
she could maybe submit, you know, like to both districts, you know, within the LIC, UISD, and for education, the TAMU, LC South, you know.
I think that would also be a good, like the educators that are, you know, retired, maybe that they know somebody or they have, you know, their foot in the door with the admins to send it out that way.
Yeah, Dr. Reed.
Because it's kind of like up to us, you know, to get it out.
And, but you know, I mean, I know that through the city, it could go out, like,
Bigger, yeah.
not like, not an invitation, but like, an announcement.
Call, yeah.
An announcement.
Is there any way that you can approach the city manager and ask him to send an email to all the departments inviting them to apply?
So they can't be city employees and they can't be elected officials.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Right.
And we cannot nominate them,
And we-
right?
yeah, we cannot
do it.
nominate
We
them
as a
ourselves.
committee, we cannot nominate, que yo, "Ay,
Yeah.
this is my friend, I wanna nominate her. I
Would
mean,
it
none of
help
us.
if we go down the list of the categories and maybe we can identify possible venues where we can promote it?
That's a good idea.
Right?
Yeah, that's
Like I'm
a
looking
great
at number one, I can reach out to the Laredo Center for the Arts, to the executive director and see if, you know, she can identify
Police
someone that.
officers can be.
Yes, yes.
Police officers can be,
Yes.
La mujer,
Sí,
mujeres.
So only city government employees?
yes, only like we can't,
the
we can't
staff.
nominate like Martha or Zulema, right, because they're employed by
No,
the
but
city.
the
But I
city
know that, I
manager,
know
but the
that
city
he
manager
is-
could send invitation to, for example, the animal shelter or the Parks and Recs, or can they apply?
I don't think they can
No.
apply.
Their city.
There's like, you know, like,
So it's a
City
conflict
staff.
of
So
interest.
from,
it could be like firefighters, it could be like police officers, you know.
there are
they-
still organizations under the city, so are those the only organizations that?
Like the,
Under the
as far as I
city?
know, like PD and firefighters, yeah, they can be honored, but like people that are in the
They're
government.
all
No tienes
city
tantas
employees.
mujeres
So I'm
tampoco
trying
en
to,
el- en el
I'm trying to
firefighter.
figure out
US
if
Customs.
Yeah, it's a fine line, saying,
Yeah.
you can't be
US
city
Customs.
employees, but
Right.
police officers are city employees,
Yeah.
they're employed by Laredo, the city of Laredo.
Right.
So there, it is a
Yeah.
fine line of,
Right.
and who
where, cause
says
there it says
which one?
government employees, it does say government employees. For
Yeah, I know that
Yes.
we've had border patrols, US Customs, fire,
Mhm.
firefighters, police, ladies.
Police officer lady.
I mean, we've honored those
She
ladies.
says that it's on.
Excuse me?
Are we being recorded?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're used to seeing
seeing
ourselves.
ourselves.
See that high quarter TV. We're just
I
playing
asked
at
just to know if I can eat
Do you
more.
wanna,
Yes, let's go down the list. Fine and performing arts. I mean, I'm thinking the Laredo Center for the Arts,
Yes.
and maybe, there are professors, at TAMU or Laredo College that are in
the city, I mean, in itself,
There's Laredo Theater Guild,
People from Cultura.
Laredo Theater Guild,
Cultura
el Teatro Chicano.
yeah.
Laredo Film
Flores.
Society.
Sí.
Those is, yeah.
Right.
Because
Okay, so I'll
there's
send
the
out the
symphony-
application to
Symphony.
Yeah, to the Center for the Arts, the Laredo Little Theater, and I'm naming the ones that I know,
That
I
you
can email them directly and.
That you have the access.
That's
Last
valid?
time,
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
at Gale, we had picture already.
Ah, sí, they
Yeah.
are.
Those people from the center, because acuérdense, they have to meet certain criteria.
Yeah, it
You,
just.
let's say you have
Of the bunch of those
Yes.
people, you only have two that you think are gonna be
Right,
okay.
just two.
You have to look to see if they're gonna be.
Yeah, I remember last year that, because she's been a teacher 40 years, or,
Ah, sí,
yes,
sí.
but what has she done?
Exactly.
It's not the
But at this
number.
point where we need our
Let's see.
applications,
yeah,
right,
we need
regardless of.
applications. We need
Yes.
applications.
Right?
We need
Yes.
nominees, we don't have any right now.
Okay,
And, I
and
know
then
that,
we can do the
And then we can
screening.
do the screening.
Okay.
I know that 2002, when I got inducted, it was, there were only 4 ladies. It was, Rocio Acios,
Rosario.
Rosario Acios,
Rosario.
and, Sara Campos, athletic. No,
Sara
athletic.
Campos, ¿eh?
Athletic.
Oh,
Because I was under education.
Oh,
And Carol Sherwood as a volunteer,
but
because at
there
that
can
time.
be more than one.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
Yes,
no.
I
there
mean,
can be like
sometimes,
with-
that year it was
Yeah,
only
there was
4,
a-
sometimes it's been 8,
So you're gonna
sometimes
pick
it's
just
been 10.
one in that particular category.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be, because
They-
we have
because
to
they
do with
changed
what we
everything.
got, not everybody turns in different
Yeah.
All the
organizations,
others,
or
yes.
even different
Let's
categories.
go back to
right.
this list so we can
Yes.
make sure we get the most outreach in less than a month.
So for business professional, I mean, like I said,
The
maybe the
chambers,
the
the
chamber,
Chamber
the
of Commerce.
Laredo Motor Carriers Association,
Yeah.
the
The
Bank
The real
brokers,
estate.
Real estate bankers.
Yeah, bankers.
Okay, I'll volunteer to reach out to those as well. Education,
Well, there's
Those are
hay
the Rotary
muchísimos,
clubs,
there's a lot.
Yeah, you can
Promote
promote it
that.
at Rotary.
at the Rotary. Anyone available this Friday to be our speaker at Rotary?
Who's a member? You're a
No,
member.
I can do
Yeah,
for my
you can
Probably
Rotary.
do 7:30.
Yes,
I could probably do 7:30.
I
Yeah.
can invite you to our Rotary.
Mhm.
Yes, I'll
Yeah.
send you the.
The one in the morning? The breakfast one?
I have to leave by like 9.
Oh, yeah, no, we're done by 8:30.
Okay. I have an appointment.
Yeah.
How do we get up early anymore?
Not anymore.
Not
It's the retired people, don't.
Retired people, yeah, we don't
Sí.
get up.
So for
I do,
education,
That's easy, you'll get.
Pues education would be
Districts.
TAMU,
LCC,
UISD,
and
the LC,
And Sulama shared it in the retired teachers group also.
With the Laura,
Yeah.
Laura,
Yes.
well, she's in the retired
Yes.
group,
And they know a lot of people.
because all the teachers that
Right,
teach
right.
retired.
But it wouldn't hurt to reach out to those people
Right,
again.
Right.
Mhm.
okay, civic leadership, public service.
That would be like Rotary, the Rotary groups and the LULACs.
Okay.
And
We're running out of names. Well, we have been doing this for a long time, yeah, check this is, but there's a lot of talent here. There's a lot of people that are very talented.
Nonprofit organizations?
yeah, nonprofit.
There's a lot of nonprofit. I don't know who you would.
The nonprofits.
Especially this year, I'm sure there's gonna be several nonprofits that did an outstanding job during COVID and all the resources and all the, how much they helped, our community,
I'm
so.
thinking like Bethany House, Casa Misericordia, The
Both
both sisters
have
have
been
been
already nominated and they already got to
Sí, sí,
be
sí.
honored.
Yes, they've been honored for
For
each
so
of the
many
banks, the
yeah.
food banks.
Yeah, food bank. The nurses and the people during the COVID.
But the nurses and they would be under health, no? Under
Yeah,
Yeah,
health.
they
the,
don't
there's- yeah, the categories,
Sí, de acuerdo.
yeah. They had given that extra
The extra mile, right.
mile, you know.
Yeah, because we have, there's a fine line about just, serving,
Yes.
but we want outstanding service.
It would be what they do
Yes,
above and beyond.
above and beyond.
But let's say we just get one application from one category.
It will-
Y esa application does
Does not
not
meet the.
Then
meet
we
the
do not,
qualification.
then we do not.
So
I guess
what
we'll
they
review
used to do
that
is
at that time
apply
when we
Yeah.
review.
category.
So,
No,
yeah,
no,
we'll
no,
worry
no,
about it once
no,
you get the
no,
application.
I-
Yes.
They have to
I was-
specify.
Yes, I was reading the list.
At least get the
and-
application
Yes.
for right
Yeah, let's focus on getting the
I was
application.
reading that we
don't wanna
have
scare
to,
them
at least
before
30
they
to be
apply.
considered. And if you don't, the 30 points.
Oh, yes,
remember
yes,
last
yes,
year?
correct,
Yes,
correct.
and
I
if you
agree.
don't, well, no.
Next
it's
item.
a-
I agree.
Volunteerism,
That's right.
Yes, a
Community
lot of volunteers.
service, that's the same as.
Yeah, the volunteer literacy, I was just with them right now, the volunteer, they do a lot, and they are truly volunteer.
who's that?
Literacy, the literacy council, I'm thinking just out loud, who else?
Communities in
Yes.
Can you
schools.
share it with them?
Communities, yes, I can share it with them.
Mhm.
Yes, I was just talking to
The Habitat for Humanity.
Humanity,
I don't know.
So, what were you saying?
You're on that.
Yeah, I'm in that
She
board.
got already honored.
No, but not necessarily her, it's,
No, you can get it,
other
and I'm
people,
just saying,
volunteers.
ella ya está, pero como quiera. I mean,
There's,
you
there's
have
a,
also,
now that we have the restore, there's a lot of people that are above and beyond doing,
Mhm.
I mean.
Volunteer work.
Yes, a lot of people, so.
Any particular area as far as who volunteers? Does it have to be?
It could be anything.
Anything, anything, anything.
Mhm.
Okay.
You know, like at that time, 2002, Ms. Sherwood was just a volunteer at that time, 2002, and now she's the director
Mhm.
for what?
for Habitat
Oh,
for Humanity.
Habitat.
I mean, that's when I met her, in 2002. You know, I mean, she was just a volunteer at building homes. And then she became involved and we kept going and now she's the director.
Yeah.
Law
She's
enforcement, that's self, you know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of outstanding, I mean, that might, I mean, like, for example, the police officers or customs or border patrols, that they might be
Nice.
helping in Little League or volleyball or whatever, but they have their job aside from, and then they do above and beyond to, for the city.
It has to be above and beyond.
For the
It needs to be
city.
clear.
We all have a
Yes.
job.
There's a lot of,
to do.
ladies
Something we
that
have
do
to
that.
do.
Sí, sí, sí.
You can only, because you're working, we all work.
Healthcare?
Oh, there's so
Does
many.
anybody have any connections in healthcare?
The medical,
I can probably reach out to both, main
Hospitals,
hospitals
doctors,
and,
We can
Yes.
get them to the.
the clinics.
The clinics, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and at the Rotary also we have the medical that they can take.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Rotary has a good medical members.
I mean, I'll reach out to the ones that I have mentioned, but yes, the more we can
The
share,
more we can
because
share.
maybe I can
Yes.
do outreach for one individual, but maybe you know someone else from that same site.
I've been telling people, I mean, like, passing the word, and a lot of people, ay, ¿qué es eso? What's that? I mean, they don't have the slightest idea as to what's going on. But,
I think that the best thing is word of mouth, and you tell, if you have one that's very outstanding, and una conocida, somebody you know, and you tell somebody to nominate, because we cannot nominate them.
Next is
And
like
and
legal.
remember,
Legal.
just not because she's there, but because she is outstanding in other, she does
Yeah, so
over
it's
and
not-
above.
She does it that way.
That's the difference, over and
you
above.
have different
Yeah.
hats.
Well,
Sí,
no,
sí,
like
sí.
Nelly Boma's not a council person.
The what?
She's like an immigration
Yeah.
or just like other lawyers. I mean, that was just something that came to mind, but.
Anyone connections with
Any
Is there like
lawyers?
lawyers?
There's a bar
There is? There is a
association,
bar
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on a board with a board member of the, so I'll reach out to her. And then,
And then last but not least, military.
Well, we've done military.
Yeah, we have.
I'll contact them.
okay. So the
Just so
next,
you know, I will contact the veterans, the police, the firefighters. I already started contacting them, but, and I also have a contact with, Border Patrol. They apparently have some kind of task force having to do with women. Hi.
It's for profile.
Nice to meet you. Those are the times.
Thank you. So on the selection committee, what's a good time for y'all to meet? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? 6, 5:30?
5:30, I think 5:30 would be okay.
5:30?
5:30 would be okay.
6
Yes.
best for me, but I can try to make
Yeah, but
arrangements.
this is the election, you're not here.
Oh,
The
so
other-
that'll be
you're
the
other-
11th?
This is, on the 11th, it's,
Did you send me?
we're in alphabetical order, so it's me, Marie Gonzalez. Who's Marie Gonzalez? Okay. Sylvia Palombo, Lupita Ramirez, Maria Romero. ¿Quién es Maria Romero? Okay. And Martha Wright, who's absent today.
And that's gonna be when,
On the 11th at 5:30 of January.
So
Right
should we
after the
go ahead and
meeting.
just schedule the room?
For several days, because I don't think we'll finish in one sitting.
Yeah,
actually have, it was on the third floor.
on the third floor? The first one is? Okay, so do we need to schedule like the 11, 12, and 13?
I actually scheduled all week.
Okay.
I was like, wait, why did she
Okay.
call me?
Okay.
That means that
So-
we have enough, but let's say
Yeah,
one
well-
category, we only have one.
I think
So
let's be
Friday, do you
ambitious.
think?
So we wanna just get
Thursday.
more,
Yeah.
as much as
I
we
can
can.
travel out Friday.
As many.
So she'll, so
To
Martha's
make it-
gonna book the third floor conference room for the selection committee to meet Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 5:30
Yes.
until
Hopefully
they're
we'll be-
finished.
We'll
Hopefully
be
you can
finished
finish
before.
early.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's better to be safe, yeah, to plan. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
So is it
Because you
right
never
after the January? the
We'll
10th?
have our
10th.
January meeting and then the
Then-
next day the
That's what
selection
the
committee can
four
start
days,
meeting.
yes.
Here?
And-
And
No, no,
the
third floor,
conference
third floor.
room.
And it's Marie Gonzalez, Sylvia Palombo, Lupita Ramirez, Maria Romero, Martha Wright, and myself.
Perfect.
Okay, so we'll meet there.
Okay, perfect. And then the next thing is, assuming that we get applications in and y'all
We
can
will,
meet,
we will.
great. That's all gonna
Let's
give to
be
y'all.
positive, Amanda. We
Okay.
will get.
If we can get on the January 17th council meeting, agenda to present by then.
January 17th.
Which would be the, right after that Friday on that following Monday.
Yeah, if we could, oh wait, I'm sorry, it can't be that week because you have to present it to us first.
You'll be having a
those will be
baby member
that
on
day,
the
yeah.
17th.
I
Just
know.
remember, that's
But
what
we
she's
need to
doing.
present our action plan on that day, but, so the selection committee has to present it to us, the board
Yes, for
first, to
approval.
the commission first, and then we take it to council.
So,
So
we
then,
on
we
February
meet
14th.
February 14th and on
January
To
10th.
pretend, to
Already have
present
this.
on the 14th. Here,
We
No, no,
meet, we
no, no.
meet first,
on
and
the
then the.
14th.
and
Oh,
then we
yes, yes,
present.
yes, on the 14th, so
Yes.
you will present,
To
To the board.
commission.
To the
present
commission.
the honorees or the nominees to the commission on the 14th.
Yes.
And then the next council
21st.
meeting is the 21st, so that one we need to be on the agenda.
Okay.
When is the council meeting?
February 21st. I'll be back by then.
God willing. God willing.
So the action plan would be for January the 17th?
The action plan will be for January the 17th.
Yes.
So then the next is, we had just kind of discussed, but we can make it more concrete, the media event to introduce the Hall of Fame inductees. If council can approve by the 21st and we don't have to go back in front of them, I think we had decided to kick off Women's Month and announce publicly on the 1st, which is a Tuesday. That's if we don't get any
For,
one disagreeing with our selection.
that's not on
The
the,
selection of the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, so it gets, the selection committee presents it to us and then we present it to council. Council still has to approve it before we announce.
So they
Okay.
reject
Oh, I
them even
see.
though we said.
yes,
Really?
oh, yes.
Has it happened?
That's what happened
Has
the
it
last time.
happened?
Has it happened?
Yes.
Yes, it has happened. But that, wasn't that the posthumous or something?
No.
No, something, oh my goodness,
It happened.
it happens. I had
There
no
is,
idea.
there is another council meeting before, but, we'll. There's a March 7th and we can do it again after that one, but that's really gonna be pushing it.
Yes.
So let's just get those applications out,
Okay.
get them
And
in.
and for March 1st,
March 1st.
you have a time, is I have a workshop that day at 5.
I think we should do the 21st.
What?
To make it
What-
safe.
what-
For
what
the
day?
council.
February.
February
Yeah,
That's a
21st.
yes,
parade,
first.
and
That's
isn't that all the
what
That's
parade?
what
we are
we're
doing.
presenting.
We
That's
are presenting.
presenting.
So what are you talking about, March?
When
We
we
can
present to the media.
The media
The
event.
official
yeah.
announcement.
The official
Announce all the
announcement.
honorees.
But I needed to know what time. Does it matter?
I don't think it.
Usually it's in the,
It's
the
in
day.
So-
It's because I have a
If
workshop,
I
that's
may,
why.
so, I reserved La Posada for the whole, I didn't know what Sunday.
Uh-huh.
And so we can give the honorees like 2 weeks so they can invite. So just keep that in mind. So is it gonna be the last Sunday in March that we're looking at?
We had
Yeah,
discussed
okay.
it last Sunday in
The last
March
Sunday.
because
Of
it gives us
this.
more
More
time,
time.
the most time.
So
But
then
we, if we can
March
announce them on the 1st, then we give them the whole month to let us know how many
Yeah,
people,
yes.
us get a head
Yes.
count.
Okay,
And then, what is it, the 27th?
The
okay,
26th.
March the 27th?
I have a question. We give them to invite whomever they want, or is there a limit of 10?
I think there was a limit of
Yeah.
10.
10,
Yeah.
you know, it's a
I'm sorry.
table of 10, right?
Yeah, table
So-
of,
Including
including the honoree.
Including themselves, so it's a limit of 9.
It's
But
a
it's
table.
good that we're giving ourselves a month, because isn't there like a video that needs to be
Yes.
produced?
Yes,
there's a
and
video.
used and- Yeah.
Yes, we need the whole month.
But, just last year, some of them took 3 tables. I mean, and again, it's all gonna depend on how many honorees you have.
Right,
If you only have 6 or
Four,
7,
yes.
then
Yeah.
2 tables is not a problem.
Yes, yes.
And we can go based on the budget. If I
Right.
can, it's gonna be pretty much, for those of you that are not here, we'll let you know, but the many that we've had in the past, which is a fantastic brunch selection, I kind of asked them to stay in the same frame, the same, if y'all don't mind, because we did have bids from other areas,
Yes.
but I really felt that
Yeah.
if everybody would agree, La Posada was just so
Yes.
convenient,
Yes, yes,
and
yes.
they already know how we work and all.
Yeah.
So based on the budget that we have, then we can say, if there's 9 applicants, then they can actually invite 20. Some of them will, some of them won't, but we'll bring that up as.
Yes.
Yeah, as we go.
Some don't even
Yeah.
have that many.
And,
do they?
yeah.
And
know.
I loved it at La Posada, the brunch was wonderful,
Yes.
and we all
Yeah.
fit
Oh,
perfectly.
yes.
But
Oh,
just
yes.
keep in mind that we still have to submit 3 bids to the city.
Yes, I already have
Okay.
one, so I'm waiting on the other one.
Yeah.
I mean, I have 2, I'm waiting on one more.
Okay, you're, yeah.
Okay.
Putting it in your hands, I know you
It's,
I know
last
you
time was wonderful, Esther, it was very well.
Yes,
Yes.
okay.
And La Posada, we're right, I mean,
So-
you can't go wrong with La Posada.
No.
At what
That's our-
time is the event?
It's from 11 to 2.
2 or 3.
And we
11 to 2,
usually,
but we normally.
Well,
There are
if
10.
it's up to Esther what time she wants to set it at.
I thank you, but normally we do schedule everybody to be there at 10:30.
Okay,
But the brunch does start from 11 to 2. But we do want everybody to be there at 10:30 because then it takes longer. But, yeah.
It's usually
Okay.
11.
Yeah.
For the, I'm gonna go back to the media event. The media event on the 1st, if we wanna do it that day, we can also do it on the 2nd if we don't have to.
It wouldn't be bad to do it on the second?
It's a Wednesday.
Would you
Oh, wait,
mind
well,
doing it
hold
on the second?
It's Ash Wednesday that Wednesday.
Oh, no,
So-
then no,
Let's keep it on the 1st.
on the first.
Is there a location where we would have that?
We would do it here at City Hall.
Here? Is that what
In
they
Council
Also,
Chambers.
like the last time.
That's where we did it.
Oh.
We did
At
it.
council
At 5.
chambers.
At
Council
5.
Chambers.
Yes.
I would say 5:30,
And
because
that's
people get out at
actually-
5.
That's
5:30.
I'll change my workshop.
And we'll book the council chambers.
It's pretty, there's time enough.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
is it open for suggestions?
yes.
Yes.
If we were to have a sponsor, like a bank or something, would that be a possibility or are we restricted to have it here?
You mean the media event?
Yes.
No, we used to have it at the IBC.
RBC is,
Es la que nos daba.
Exactly.
Or Falcon? If we would, are we open to ask if they would like to sponsor it?
I mean, I guess we can ask if you want.
I'd like to ask.
Okay.
I'd like to ask Falcon Bank. Are you with Falcon Bank?
No.
Okay. I'd like to ask Falcon Bank and IBC. Does anybody else want to ask?
Was IBC, we Falcon Bank.
That's it?
Well, I know it's been in the past always that has been IBC.
IBC
You know,
is,
that's toda la
that's
comida
very
and they're very good. But we can, I
Because they're
mean,
very generous with the assortments
Yeah.
and not to say anything, but last year, let's just say it was COVID, but it was very, very
it was,
limited.
no, 2 years
We
ago.
Or 2 years
Years
ago,
ago.
very
But
limited.
it was just here and there
It
was
was
all
just
that.
here.
It was just here.
Okay, so thank you for your permission and I'll
We didn't
I'll
serve
ask.
anything.
Do it.
We just took pictures
Yes. We just.
because we don't have a budget.
We had like.
So let me just ask Mr. Valdez if we can have that portion sponsored.
And the ones
Like
that-
a veggie tray,
But
we had like
Yeah, we
the
did.
food tray, we had drinks.
Ladies, excuse me.
I'm so sorry.
It's one person at a time.
Yes, ma'am.
Because, I mean, everybody's talking differently.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
So,
Thank
I
you.
mean,
I'm sorry.
So we'll go ahead and ask Mr. Valdez if we can have it sponsored, just to be
Yeah.
clear. Because we
do
can't
it.
get a free thing.
Yeah, just.
They're kind of worried about things, but we'll ask, and if not, we'll have it in council chambers, so we'll confirm that. And we discussed already item, D, the date and time and place of the Hall of Fame induction ceremony would be March 27th. From 11 to 2, we would arrive at 10:30 a.m. And once we get all 3 of the bids, then we can confirm, but most likely it will be La Posada, because they already asked. Okay, does anybody have any more questions regarding the Hall of Fame? Getting really nervous about it.
are they gonna, with the Hall of Fame, are they, well, I mean, I know it's a new, I've never been in the committee, but, you know, these ladies, are they gonna go with the madrinas as well?
Yes, we'll still do the madrinas, we'll still do, I think we did like the glass awards last year. Those are very nice. The only thing is that we might not do a paid speaker, so that gives us a little bit more flexibility in our budget.
Yes.
We could still
We
have a
can-
good
yeah.
speaker.
We can still
from
have a good
Laredo.
speaker, but we
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, Dr. Norma Cantu
Yeah.
just gave a terrific commencement speaker. And
She's a Hall of Famer.
I know, and
Okay,
she
that's
is, she was terrific.
You can ask her.
Yeah, we can ask her.
Or suggest.
Well, do you want a guest speaker, but that will be free of cost?
See?
Yeah.
Okay, still the speaker.
Yeah.
Or we could ask somebody from the city también, you know, a woman who's,
Or some member that
Eloquent.
used to be another, that has been honored already.
already,
There's
yeah.
a lot of nice.
There's Adela Flores. She's a judge in Austin, Texas, very prominent. She's a
There's-
Laredo.
Yeah.
Okay, so
There's
when we
Gabriela
get to
Gonzalez.
meet, I'd like to invite the people to be in the committee,
Okay.
and then we can discuss
Sí, sí.
that.
The committee.
Okay, so we don't have it on the agenda to like
Right.
just do Hall of Fame yet, but we can add it to the agenda for
Okay.
next time. So you can pick your committee. The next important item is the action plan because we need to present it very soon. We did not make quorum last month, so we're kind of behind. So what we really need to discuss and what we have been discussing with the action plan committee is, item A is that we want to research and survey the state of women in our community like year long at all of our events, be able to possibly have a survey created where we just get to ask them simple questions about, their economic status, maybe their health care, their employment, and really just kind of build some data throughout the year. And so what we had discussed is maybe creating like a QR code that if they come to a Yes I Will Vote or International Women's Day, they can just scan, and then we can get, a few questions out of them and really get to evaluate so that we can make better decisions, on behalf of all women, not just like our small networks. We get to, survey different type of women in the community. So I think that is important, because we really don't know the state of everyone in our community. So that was one thing. Maria Reyes, did you want to speak a little bit more about that?
Oh, no, you did great.
Okay. So she's going to build the survey and help us get it out at every event that we have. The next item that we have is item B, the Yes I Will Vote campaign. We had a great turnout last 2 years ago, when we invited all of the largest employers to commit to encouraging their employees to go out and vote. It was amazing. We had a packed room, and so I don't know what the effect is going to be now with COVID and the new variant, but I definitely think that we should try again to get these employers to commit, sending out their employees to vote in the primary and then again in the general election. Along with the Yes I Will Vote, we think that it would be important and maybe helpful for us to partner up with our council members that we represent and do something like Politics in the Park every Saturday in February maybe, where we can register voters, we can get people to get into our survey, they can maybe do some Zumba, they can meet their council person, they can know what precinct they're in, and really just be like a voter education little pop-up at the park, with whoever, city council member, like an interactive day. I don't know if anybody has any more input or they think that's a good idea.
The last time we had it, when we had it at it was Falcon, we had it there, they loaned it to us, right? And they sponsored it the last time and then the second time. But we had a speaker, and I got the people from Southwest Voter Registration Education Project, esta Camarillo, Lydia. And of course, this organization is not only in Texas, it's in California, it's in New Mexico, Arizona, and Texas. And all they do is nonpartisan drives. But it is a big organization. It was started by Willie Velasquez from San Antonio. Willie dies at a very early age, but they continue to do it. And the reason they did was because they noticed that a lot of the people that were running for office, whether it was a man or a woman, they would never win, because there was a lot of people that didn't go out to vote. So they started to go down the streets and knocking on doors and getting people registered. And we did do a lot of that here when I coordinated that many years ago in the 80s, the Southwest Voter, and then returning to the Yes I Will Vote. And I think that if we can get the message out and if we can do it again, I think it would be a good idea. I mean, if they want to sponsor us again.
It was IBC that sponsored the last time, and so we would again have to get that coordinated with them. But I think that it was a great event.
The Falcon.
It was IBC the last time.
So if they allow us to sponsor that, they'll allow us to sponsor the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
To Gabriel Castillo.
Right? In reference to that, Yes I Will Vote, would it be kind of like non-denominational?
Nonpartisan.
Nonpartisan.
We got you, Esther.
I know myself.
Esther, it has to be nonpartisan.
No. what I was gonna say was there's a lot of confusion on the new rules for limitations and restrictions on going out to vote and all. Could we educate the public on that as well?
Yeah, I think
It is
that's important to
not that I'm
educate the
unusual.
public at these like little pop-ups,
Well,
right?
and the most important thing right now is the machines. I know that, I don't know if y'all voted on the amendments, but when you go and ask for your ballot, you have to vote on the machine. And I've been speaking to some people, I was at the not the youth parade, the Christmas parade, and there were some ladies there talking about it, and they were outraged. They said, we don't want to vote in the machine, no sabemos, no queremos el paper ballot. And that's the most safest thing. But we need to see if we can get our elections administrator, Jose Luis Castillo, to give them a choice, you know, I mean, how can you just say, you know what, you have to do it as.
But is it countywide and citywide, or is it statewide mandatory?
Well, I
They
think,
spent like $70,000 on the machines or something.
well, see, the
crazy.
only reason they spend that is because they
But
were
they had
told that there was this new machines and they would get a good discount if they bought them, if the county would buy them. And they did, but I don't think that it's, how do you say, fair for them, because the ladies, some of them, I don't know if y'all went to vote, but those ballots that they give you, I mean, they're tan chiquitas, and then a lot of the people, the elderly, they do not know. I mean, they don't like to go and punch, and they don't, I mean, really, I didn't like it either, pero pues I had to do it. And then they're looking over your shoulder how you're voting.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to, you're supposed to be, you know, que te tengan unas cortinas. We have to discuss it because that's a lot of things that, we're gonna have a lot of problems, ladies, with that. For people going out to vote, because I've been out in the streets, I've been talking to people, and we've been doing some voter registration with the Yes, I Will Vote. And those people, I mean, the students, yes, because they know, but the students, they really, you know, sometimes
Yeah.
students don't like to go out and
I
vote because
think
they don't know who to vote for.
That's more of like an issue with the county though, because
Yes.
that's the election, like, we can't really go and fix that, right?
Not that we
But we
can't,
can
but we can
educate-
raise the
we
issue.
can
I mean, anybody can raise an
educate, yeah,
issue,
anybody can
and
raise
if
the
that's,
issue.
it's not that we can't, we can. Because if the more people go, the more they will listen to. And I did run into one of the elected officials, Margie Ibarra, and I dijo, the only thing we can do, Sylvia, dijo, get people to, get a petition, pick up a petition from everyone, because if people wanna go to the polls, you cannot be turned away from the polls. They have to let you vote with a paper ballot or whatever method you want, and then you can mark a challenge, but you cannot be turned away because that's our constitutional right. And if we don't stand up for it, we're gonna lose it. So that's all I'm telling you, because I've been involved with it so many years, you know, that I can tell you what goes on. But the
That's important.
scuttlebutt out there is
That's
that
important.
the elderly ladies, las señoras, no, they're selling, yo no voy a votar because I don't wanna vote in that machine, I don't trust it.
Technology.
And then I don't trust it either, pero pues,
Well, that's important. I think that should be something that we can later on discuss more into detail,
Yeah.
because
That
that's
good
going
issue
to
we need to
affect
get
our
involved in too,
population.
because si nosotros no, entonces,
The
¿qué?
voter, it's gonna affect the way that our voters in Webb County vote. That is going to have an impact, so maybe
We don't have any political clout, that's the
Well,
problem.
if you get that petition started, then maybe at our voter outreach, that would be a good place for you to get signatures and raise the issue.
Yeah.
And are we allowed to do that as a commission?
Yeah, well, it's nonpartisan. It's a
Yeah,
nonpartisan
I
thing.
think it's a great
But
idea.
if we have these little pop-ups at the park or whatever,
Yeah.
you know, we can have somebody do voter registration, we can have somebody talk about what precinct are you in? Here's what you need to have when you go to the ballot, or, you know, what ballot you need to ask
Yeah,
for.
and usually
and-
when you vote, when you register people, it's not just registering, because then you
You need to
can't
educate
drop
them.
them either, you know, you gotta keep up with them and finding out if
Yes,
they
yeah.
see their
To
registration card,
educate.
letting them know where to go out and vote. It's very easy to register everyone, that is no problem, it's getting them out to vote. Por eso they don't listen to us in Washington, because our voter turnout is, we have 137,000 people registered. The last time people went out to vote, it was not even 60,000.
And out of those 60,000, do we know how many were females?
Most of them, not most of them, but the female vote is more than the male. That's always been the case, not only here, but all over the United States. It's more females that vote than male, that I can tell you, because I've been doing a lot of research on it. And it does come out, I mean, I watch the programs, and people, I mean, females are the ones that vote more than male. That is absolutely, yeah, I can tell you that very much.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and proceed with the luncheon. It's either gonna be virtual or in person, and then We'll also do like a pop-up in the park, where we can engage, do voter education, right, for the month of February if you want, or we can wait
I think we
until
should have like a
October.
rock the boat concert for the young people. That's what I was gonna say. We had it before with LISD, because Dr. Villarreal did take care of that. She's done it for 13 years. And she did it very well. And then at the end, what she did, she would have debate, she would have the people go out and vote, the kids. But they would make sample ballots for them. They would actually let them go to the booths, and they would have actual candidates and everything, because if you don't do it that way, tienen miedo a votar. I can tell you, because that's what they tell me. I mean, it's just like, ma'am, ¿por quién voto? You know, we don't know anybody. I mean, they might know the sheriff, or they might know the whatever, but they don't know all of the people in there, and they're very important. The school boards are very important. I mean, all of that, pero no saben cómo votar.
So that's what I was gonna recommend, that I know in the past, and it was a very successful luncheon with the business community and employers and employees,
Yeah.
but I think there's a big, opportunity there to educate our young individuals, maybe host something at TAMIU, those that are already, and like you mentioned, not just register them, but making sure that at least,
And I can tell you that at the elections office, they always scream at me, you're bringing, because I do all the naturalization ceremonies, 150 every 2-3 months for, 30 years. But like she said, Sylvia, ya no estoy registrando. Why don't you concentrate more in taking them to the polls? We have 140,000 people registered. What are y'all doing to get in touch with those people, to go out and vote? That's where it's all at, but you know what, that's a lot of work. That's going down the streets, that's calling them up. You devote a lot of time to it. I mean, I can tell you because I've done it since the 80s. And I don't quit, why? Because I don't give up. I said, when I give up, I lose. So I'm not gonna give up. I keep doing it because, I have a passion for it, and we all need to do it.
I think the biggest obstacle that we have is that people don't, they don't see the value, in voting. Because unfortunately, that's a lot of the mentality that some people have, like, why vote, And I think it's a challenge, and we should maybe somehow focus or take on that opportunity of educating people,
Yes.
calling important.
Exactly.
Because if they don't, they need to
Voter
feel
registration
empowered.
and education, that's the Southwest Voter, and education, which we did a lot.
That's an excellent point, if I may. I think that as a commission, it would be something, I think, exciting to do. There was a culture, not only here, but a culture here, that you would just go vote because you lived in a certain place and you were committed, and they would feed you and take you to vote. And there was no other interest, there was no other knowledge. The sad part about that was that if you would look at the ballots, that only one candidate or 2 candidates were checked off and everybody else was ignored.
The undervote.
Okay, so here maybe, and I think some of you are excellent speakers, it would be so exciting if we would, and if we have time and it fits into a schedule, to go to the community centers, to go to the senior citizen centers, to go to where the elderlies, and I'm gonna say elderlies, and the new elderly now is what, 75? I don't wanna give you elderly, or whatever it may be, but, let's move that up.
Age is just a number.
But it's just a number. But there is a dire need in those centers and community centers and senior homes to educate them and to really let them know what they are voting for. And if we would start a new way of voting here, a new wave, it would be exciting, because it broke my heart. It broke my heart to find out that they voted for one person. It was like, we don't do that. What? And we underestimated the potential of that voter, and what that voter could truly mean if they would have known the right way of doing it. So this is just an idea, because now I felt like, oh my God, this would be a great opportunity to educate our voters, that population that has been kind of like,
Are we allowed as a commission to put together or conduct debates?
conduct what?
Oh,
Debates?
debate.
No,
Debates
I
on-
don't
We do it on the, we do it but when we go to the students.
I mean, not conduct debates, but maybe have a debate at TAMIU and invite, whoever is running so that students can, learn about their platforms, their priorities,
Okay, just so you guys
The
know.
political
in-
parties do that.
In TAMIU, students are well informed through political science classes in where to find the information. You also have Move Texas, every year going in there to register. They are well educated on where to get the information. Whether they take the initiative to do it or not is up to them. But I want to bring you back to the topic. I agree with absolutely everything you guys are saying. I taught politics for years at the local level, and I have been pushing people to be more active in politics. So I am familiar with everything you guys are saying. But the question is, and I want you to keep asking yourselves, please, how does this affect women? Because the great question Miriam asked is how many women vote? Do we know why they are voting and how they are voting, whether that is really affecting their power within our city? That's the big question. Okay? So just keep thinking about women, please.
I agree.
And how is this affecting
How it
them?
affects women.
So Amber talked about the yes, I will vote. Then she's saying that we're leaving it open for educational planning within each of the city council districts. Okay, all of that, all of what you discussed fits there.
Yeah.
Okay, so this passion you're feeling right now, please bring it into action at that moment. When you contact your city council, tell them this is what I want to do, and start putting your coalition to do that at that time. If it's nonpartisan, we're not violating any laws. Okay?
It's targeting women though. Are you
So,
saying?
yeah,
We need to do that. We need to target just women, pero when you have it like
No,
you say.
exactly. When you go to the education, it's education. It can be non-gender, it could be non-partisan, it could be, okay?
Well, as far as
Yeah.
our group is concerned, one of the mission statement is that we target women issues. And then if we're not gonna be doing that, then we're not going, we're not
Right.
doing the mission statement that we should. Because this is only for women. And I know we can educate them. There are other groups that do it too, the education.
That's what she said.
Part of it. Pero sí, la mujer, and also ladies, that the important part here about getting women to go out and vote also, but getting women to run for office so that they can be in power in those particular, positions that make a difference.
Right.
And that's where we need to target that too, I think that's also this group will target the women to see who would be interested in running for office, because we don't have that many women we have a little bit more, pero ahorita está dominated by men, which is all right, but not all right anymore, not in this day and age. Not in this day and age. I would like to see a whole community, the city council for at least,
At least
more
one.
women
Yes.
in city,
They are focusing on
I'm
this.
gonna go ahead and move to the next item, because I think we need to keep the ball rolling so we can all go home. International Women's Day, we had talked about making it a celebration, either on the day of or maybe on the weekend, and partnering up with the outlets where we can invite female artists, female vendors, and we have more open space outside. We can also partner with some of the stores for certain discounts.
Yeah.
And have like a panel of women come out and speak and network and booths and stuff. We just need to decide if we want to do it. International Women's Day falls on the 8th, and it is hard for a lot of us to get away from work in the middle of the day.
Is that in April?
It's a
It's
Tuesday.
March 8th.
It's a Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday. That's the one where we go with the Nuevo Laredo women, we meet them in the bridge.
Yes.
And we all have the flowers and we exchange y todo. And they invite us either over there to eat or we invite them over here to eat.
And we
Bueno,
can,
se viene para
we
acá,
can do
nosotros
that
vamos
and
para
invite
allá.
them over to the outlets and just kind of
Yeah,
have
that's true.
So would you
An
rather
event
have
that
it
day.
on Tuesday or on a Saturday? Saturday would be the 12th of March.
No, it's too
It
late.
depends on,
Why too?
Or maybe I would say like earlier,
Usually
like
it's-
the 5th,
On the
Yeah.
5th.
maybe the
Before
5th.
Okay.
You know, Elia Guevara used to be a member, and she is now, has a strong position with Nuevo Laredo. She's a liaison for events and all.
Yes, that would be
So we
great.
could just, reach
Yeah,
out
we
to
can
her.
have a bigger event if it's on a Saturday,
Oh,
who
yeah.
aren't working.
I think so.
We can
we need to
invite
partner with the
Sure.
with Nuevo
Laredo.
Laredo.
So it would be the Saturday
We
before?
can do it on
The
a
fifth?
Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it does, sí se
Saturday
llena,
the
there's a
fifth.
lot of people
Yeah.
in
Saturday the
Laredo,
fifth.
and we meet at the middle of the bridge.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be
They give us a
great.
flower and we give them a fresh flower.
Okay, so that
Okay,
one's
they walk
settled.
back
We've
with us
already
all the way back.
discussed Women's Hall of Fame being on there. Obviously, this is a Hall of Fame year. We had also brought up, the committee had brought up having like a women's health fair, and the Women's Health Month is May. So we can partner with the city, we can partner with Gateway, we can partner with doctors and LMC to promote women's health that month, if, council approves it too. So I think it's important. We've discussed, women's health care being a major issue, an important issue for our commission. It gives us another opportunity to collect data and also, provide a service to women in our community.
Correct.
Lastly, we also discussed, we wanted to see actual policy changes from our council representatives, not just us having events throughout the year, but really challenge them to make changes for women in our community. And so I put including but not limited to, like, maybe they've already recognized International Women's Day, but now it's an opportunity for them to recognize Equal Pay Day, Women's Equal Pay Day. That's a big one. If we can get them to support maternity leave in the city, not just because I'm pregnant, but because that was a big issue in the Biden administration. They were trying to get parental leave, and that was something that they had to leave out. But if the city could just make that little change, then other employers will, make it
They
a
don't have
priority as well.
maternity leave for the ladies?
No,
Maternity,
they have to take unpaid leave. They get
The city?
Leave
We
without
didn't know
pay.
that.
leave without pay. They get to take
We
it from the
did
leave.
not know that. I didn't know.
So, I
Sounds
mean,
like they're
we're
too
just
weak to
raising that
take care of.
issue, like, hey, maybe it's time that you guys.
It's been time.
It's
right?
been time, exactly, But right now you
we
can
should
take
prioritize what we're doing. And I think
prioritize
that this-
policies like
These
that.
issues are very important, we have a lot of stuff
You don't have things that
to
get done.
not everybody can get out at a certain hour, I mean, we have a lot of things to do. The Hall of Fame is a big thing, that's our main issue,
And
she
that
just
we
did
have to
like 4
do it
months
2
off.
years.
One thing I'm trying to do
You don't have the days.
with the students in my school, the female students in
Like
my
they're all
school,
on the 17th, they don't get
I'm
back till
trying to
next
get in
year.
contact. Someone told me that they have a contact
They're all
for
this
someone
Friday,
from
the
DISD.
17th.
DISD is the only city in Texas that has feminine hygiene products in schools. So we're gonna try. I don't know if we could do that here, but I'm trying to get the connection to DISD, someone in the state representative over there, to see if we can do that in Laredo. Because our girls are like,
They don't have any feminine,
they have to go to the nurse, but like as it is, like to ask a male teacher, like when you went to the restroom, find out you started, come back, and you're like, sir, can I go to the restroom? Well, what do you need to go for? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
que los tengan ya
Yeah.
en los baños. Well, that's,
whenever they
that
need
should be,
them.
no one has any problem.
Yeah.
So they
That
don't
should be in
have
the
any-
budget, right? And I mean, the city should have
because
that
it
here
was
as well.
like they used to have them, but like when
Yeah.
I went down the laws, 'cause I'm ignorant to a lot of stuff, so I had to see, and they took it back.
They took
like,
it back.
Yeah. So DISD is the only Dallas ISD is the only school
Is that
district in
Dallas?
Texas, yeah, that has that.
Wow. Well, maybe we
No,
should
I
get
mean,
it done.
that's
and see what
important,
they
and that's
do.
important, like, for us to be able to
Yes.
challenge, like, LISD and UISD and bring that up to board members, but, I mean, as well as city employees, they should have their own feminine products too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even as teachers, they,
Yeah.
But that's where it starts at, and that's why I'm adding this proposition to collaborate with city council members, because maybe most of the time it's men up there. We have 2 women this year. Last council we only had 1, and so those aren't the priorities of men. But as a commission, it's time for us to raise those issues. And I'm open to any other ideas and policy changes that you are. It's going to be like a bold move for us to ask council to take these on, I think. But I think it's important because it's got to start somewhere.
So, and this is honestly an ignorant question. So if a young lady at school wants to go to the bathroom because she started her menstrual cycle, and she can't say that she's sick, the teacher will ask, well, what's wrong? What happened?
Yeah, like, and even if you have to go to the nurse, like.
Does HIPAA only qualify for employees? Like if she's in a, I mean.
They
No.
just don't think about it. They don't consider, like.
No, HIPAA is students also standard,
Yeah,
but
so
you
that's a
cannot.
HIPAA violation.
You
don't have to
cannot, so
ask.
that's HIPAA violation, and a right,
Absolutely.
and the right. Because the men don't have to say, you know, I need to get going, I've got to, well, what are you going for? Well, I'm gonna go do a bank, you know, what am I gonna go to the bathroom for? So I don't think that you need to even explain, quite frankly. If you have to go to the bathroom, you have to go to the bathroom. The
Yeah, but
responsibility
how
is
many students
to have the woman's, whatever they might need
Yeah, she's
available
right.
in the
Students know that.
bathroom.
And they're students.
That's what they need to
Female
do,
women,
not to
students.
have to explain. And that's, honestly, that is a HIPAA violation, and the school district attorney should know that.
Yeah, because we already did like a questionnaire and stuff,
So
and like the
embarrassing for the
answers
young
that the
ladies.
girls, like,
They won't do
they
it.
don't even understand why they're getting their periods, like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's, we got a lot of work to do.
So that's a good topic
Yes,
there.
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
But it would be for
Those
the
are the
school
issues we
district.
should be
Yes.
addressing,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But, and maybe,
No, go ahead.
gosh, you know what would really be, I mean, I don't want to stir any trouble, but it would really be neat if we could have a survey online about, you know, women's, what would you like for us? Any suggestions that you would like for us to address?
That would be a good question for our survey.
Yes.
What's important to you, right?
Right, what's important to you, and that we can be their voice, maybe?
Absolutely.
And address, because we don't know what's going on in a lot
And
of the
really, that
workforce.
should be the foundation of our action plan. You know, at the last meeting that we had, and when we started talking about the action plan,
Yeah.
that was the main discussion. We need to identify and know what are the issues that are affecting women out there, you know, so that
young
we can
women
have
at
a
that.
concise action plan that's gonna
Correct.
have an
Which
impact.
goes back now to the one topic that we did not add in here, and it's sexual abuse or sexual abuse threat, or number 1 and number 2. I have heard of people leaving their work late at night, and what protection is there than one security guard, who a lot of times, you know, could be a problem. And so what safety issues do they have when they expect an employee to work late hours, female especially, late? So it would be women's safety, for me, the sexual abuse and the verbal abuse is, you don't tolerate it. I wouldn't tolerate it anywhere.
Yeah.
And I have heard of it at some companies, and I'm in shock when I hear it, and I'm thinking that, you know. So, but we don't want to start anything. I just would like to address
But
that.
those are very important points for the survey, you
Yeah,
know, we
those
need
are
to be
important.
able to identify those.
But can I ask a question just out of curiosity, you know, and I think all the issues we've taken up are great, all of them. But remember, ladies, we have a timeline, you know, we have so many, we have a lot of issues to take care of. I think we need to prioritize them. We don't wanna be boggled up with so much, because all of us have things to do. I mean, we cannot be doing too many of this, you know, because nos cansan, you know, and we have good intentions. But when it comes to the nitty gritty, you know, find out, whoa, you know, this is too much, you know. Now, the Hall of Fame it's a big deal. And at the beginning, they told us that was our only project. Yes, yes,
That's
no,
a
they
piece of
got
cake.
after
We
us.
already got
You know,
that.
because of the,
Well,
all
anyway,
the
just to make,
sexual.
yes, they did, they stopped it. They said, y'all weren't here, but we were. And they would tell us, you know what, because you all are going out of your limit. The only mission that you have here is to do your Hall of Fame, and period, because the total action plan, they took it away. They
Yeah,
took it
because all
away.
that late, people working late and things like that, now we're going to the private sector. Now we're gonna tell employers what they need to do they're not gonna listen to us. Who are we to tell
Por
them how to
eso,
run the business?
por eso te digo, tenemos que, we have to be,
Yeah, so
we
I
have
think
to look
that's
at
too far,
the.
yes.
of
So
the-
if we wanna prioritize, is it still wise to invest time and effort and energy in creating an action plan or not?
Well, you need to
Well-
present one anyway.
Yes, we're
Okay, we're still
presenting.
into
We're
presenting.
presenting.
Like a wish list.
Oh, because
correction
from what I'm
purpose,
hearing, it's just a Hall of Fame and that's it.
No,
No, no, no.
correction,
That-
I mean, and Janita, you would support it.
Ladies,
The
I would
reason
like-
why-
Listen to this, then later on, they said, we're gonna do a wish list. Do a wish list, what is it that, remember,
But the-
Yeah,
every year?
but we're already past that. This
Yeah.
is the action plan that we're
Thank you.
presenting. They're gonna say yes or no. We wanna add women's safety, or maybe when we do these pop-ups in the park, we add, instead of like a Zumba, a women's safety
Yeah.
class would be good.
And the reason why they, just for clarification, the reason why they did away with all the plans, because none of them were related to our mission statement. We were, and that was
some of the things we're
understandable,
doing might
remember?
not be
We were
related
doing
to the
other
mission
things that
statement.
that's not what
Yo
they
digo,
had wanted us to do.
and I'll
So
be
these
honest
are
with you,
important
I don't
issues.
mind working and being here and everything, but to me, some just, action plan.
I think
we have a lot
sexual
of-
abuse is
A
important.
lot of us can have our families and have to do other things. If we're not gonna be committed, because I remember we did the Yes I Will Vote, and I remember I was a coordinator, and Sylvia was the one that was, with her and I had called the members. The members didn't go. I mean, I went by myself literally, and Sylvia. So this is the deal, ladies. I mean, ustedes todos tenemos cosas que, I'm just being honest with you. We all have things to do, right? And we all say yes.
I'm not
But at
saying
the end of the day, I know Sylvia would tell me, where is everybody? I said, pues I called everybody, porque una que no podía y la otra que está trabajando y la otra. So we were by ourselves on the voter registration. And you know that, Amber. Maybe one time they showed up at Sam's and that's it. Pero te digo porque it's true. I mean, I want to make you, impress upon you that when we commit, you have to give your extra mile. Por eso digo, don't put too much there, because we're not gonna be able to do it. I mean, I can count on that too, because, not because I am already retired, but I have a lot of, I've got my grandkids to take care of, I mean, I can't go with whenever we can. This is a lot of stuff that we're putting in there.
But
I have a question, or I don't know if it's a question, or, it's my first year, and I recall Ms. Reyes at the beginning, one of our first couple of meetings, she did say, what are we doing out there? What surveys have been, what research has been done? And hearing the propositions for, the women's equal pay, maternity leave, the sexual abuse, the physical, all of these, not just targeting women, the older women, but also started looking at the younger, even starting in elementary, middle and high. And I know spearheading what Ms. Palem was saying is, we don't want to take on so much in such a short period of time.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But I guess, once our last meeting is in May, what happens after May? Is there something where we can, like surveys that can target, like send out to the school districts? Because I know, like, I'm in elementary and we do a bully survey, and they log in, the students, and they fill out. So is there maybe something we can do closer to the end of the school year, or as we're wrapping up this, and then kind of so that we get things maybe rolling for the next year? I don't know.
So the action plan is from now until next October, until the next chair comes into play. What we have on our schedule, the schedule only goes up to May because we don't have our new, they still have to reserve the dates, June,
Okay.
July, whatever, right? So we don't have those dates yet, but we'll probably get them, I'm sure, very soon. But the action plan, technically it was supposed to be from October 2021 until October 2022.
Yeah.
But obviously 2021 is already over, so now it's really like a 2022 action plan.
Okay.
Until the next chair comes in, she'll present a new action plan. This is what we're focusing on now. We only meet once a month, so it is a very ambitious plan. But if we can, at least tackle the majority of it. And the other thing is that we have to present it to council. Like, council has to say,
They have to
well,
approve it.
we don't think it's your time for, to bring up maternity leave, but we'll consider it. At least we're bringing it to their attention, right? So like I said, the next meeting for where we want to present it at council would be the January 17th meeting, and they're gonna shoot it down or say yes, and then we're gonna go from there. But on the survey, I was talking to Dr. Reyes and I said, this is a good opportunity for us to start molding something now and sending it out anytime we have an event, anytime we get together, share it in your network so that we can compile data throughout the year.
Okay.
You know, and then we can make better decisions when the next action plan comes up.
Is there a deadline to present the action plan, or when is our, or was it yesterday?
It was like November.
And one more thing,
Okay,
so
my
that you
next
all would know
question-
why they took away, because there was a lot of liability. We were going to the nursing homes, we were going to have Christmas parties there, and we're going to the Rainbow Room, and we're representing what? The city, right? Commission. Te pasa algo, comes algo y te enfermas, you know, that was what they were looking at.
My next
That's why they
question
kinda cut
is,
it.
what do we need to do to make it happen? Like, to put together an action plan? Because at the
So-
last meeting, if you all remember, we created a Dropbox, link so that you could share, some of the ideas that everyone had, so that we could start forming an action plan, but we received none.
So this is the action plan as of right now. I
Okay.
just need to like draft elaborate on
Okay.
all of these, right? Everyone just kind of needs to like agree, maybe we need a motion to approve that these are the items that we're gonna tackle to present. I'll elaborate what needs to be said at the council meeting on each item, because I don't know if I'll be at that meeting. I'm supposed to have a baby that
I don't
day.
think so.
But if there's anything else or something that you're like, no, I don't want to present this, I don't feel comfortable with this item. But as of right, I mean, I think it's a pretty solid action plan. It's very doable. We're gonna spread it out throughout the year, and I hope we can get your support and a motion on the floor.
And then we,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, and then we need to find out if they're gonna approve it.
Yes, so they need to, hopefully they need
It's
to approve
a
it at the
step one,
January
step
17th meeting.
Now, if you want to help your action plan, what I recommend you to do is to reach out to your own council member, the one that appointed you, and start talking to that person when it gets closer to the vote about why this would benefit the city. Okay, hopefully we can start discussing these topics with data by the time they vote on it, and so, no, without data.
No, without
So,
data,
yeah,
but
exactly.
we're gonna
Yeah.
be working on the data
Exactly.
throughout the year.
Yeah, but we can start talking to people about these issues, and that will help you have references to talk to your city council members. Because if you convince them, they'll vote on yes, of course, regardless of what anyone else says.
Yupita, did you have something?
No.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Lost your
Can
thought.
we get a motion on the floor to move forward with this action plan?
Make a motion
Okay,
that we move
Mr.
forward with the action plan.
I'll second. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, so
Sorry.
there's nothing else?
No, there's two things.
Okay.
You were going to put one item in the next agenda.
Okay.
I don't know. Wasn't there an item you were going to?
She
do?
wants to create her committee.
Oh, yes.
So on the next one, we'll create committees on our next agenda for all of these items that we're presenting. We'll start forming the committees.
Okay, I would also like to ask you, and maybe ask everyone's support in requesting a report from the city through the police department on crime against women in our city. So if you could formally send a letter to the city manager requesting that, it's a need, we need to know. There's been too many horror stories out there.
I think for that,
Can
we
you-
reach out to
can
the
you
police.
No, but
Can
but
you
if they
send it-
request, yeah,
yes.
if she requests a report for the commission, the police department will provide it, and then we can all have the information.
Crimes against women. Can you
Crimes
just send me an email exactly
Yes.
how you wanted to say, and I'll sign up for
And
it.
that's from both, right, the police and the sheriff department.
Yes,
They have to, all law enforcement agencies have to report it. It's a year, it should be under national crime report.
So it's
open.
It's
public
I can
Yeah,
also
but-
get,
But this one will be focusing on radio,
Publicly honored.
so.
I wonder how many, with that
Oh,
same
maybe it's not
report,
about, we're
I wonder
already
if we could
registration
get
on
that in the school
I know that
districts.
they powered by people was.
Yeah, the
doing
school
it, and
districts
so
will have a
I
reporting
have that
agency.
yourself, Walter,
I
we're
I would
just
like to know
we've
that.
already had the meeting with all the people in the school
There's
district.
these issues.
We're gonna
with
pick up
reporting.
anybody who has not
There's
registered.
issues with reporting.
So that I
schools.
think might,
So you
might
have
not
to
work
get the
for us this
report,
time
the official one.
because that's gonna be
Yeah,
something we're gonna do the whole
Yeah,
year,
no.
If you
and
get
it's already
surveys
been
from
being
students,
done.
then the
yeah, no,
report-
absolutely. I mean, but it wouldn't hurt to have like a
Well, you
table.
can put it there, I mean,
Yeah.
so that they
Yes,
can
open up.
approve it, but
Yeah.
we have to.
But there is no local report.
But
They
the
will have
school
to
district,
Through
I'm just
Sister Rosemary.
asking,
I'm
so
so
the
sorry,
discussion that we're
I started
having
asking questions.
in part B of the meeting room is, could we do the same with the school districts? And my thing would be, to go, if it's not possible, if we would be, accepted to do an open records report, just to find out the same thing about the crime against teen girls or female students, or only to try to correlate and see what, is this happening
Yeah.
across the board?
I have a tenant that works for the CAC and it's horrible
It is.
what
Really?
our youth are going through, our
Really?
young women.
Well, I mean, just
The
last 2 weeks, I mean, middle school girls have been pretty, I mean, well, I saw it in Facebook, you know, I mean, girls getting into fights.
Getting
and-
into fights.
And assaulting them and stuff like that.
That little girl that, she was in the corner and then the car came, there was four older women and salieron y they beat her up.
Here in Laredo?
Yeah.
Yes.
This
I
happened
know
like
I knew.
2
Once
weeks
we
ago.
get that report, what are we gonna do?
Right.
But
So I
they
think-
will find out. We have to wait for the report.
Yeah.
But
But
the
I
schools,
wanna
don't they
know-
have already somebody
I'm
doing
sure
it in the
they have.
schools? I mean.
But you know what, that's an excellent question,
Oh,
and
I
there is
know.
always a reason for something. So just to give you an idea would be, I used to be also in the school district, and what we did is, there was nowhere for abused children, whatever it was, for them to go. So I literally got sponsors to pay for the Crime Stoppers phone, and bought stickers and went to every school and did presentations and told everybody, this is the Crime Stoppers, if you need any help, or if you want to report a crime.
But you were working on behalf of who?
No, at that time, I was with the school district, but I went to two school districts.
Okay.
And I got sponsors on my own
Right.
to pay for that service. Estela, of course,
Estela,
yeah, we
yeah.
all knew. She was gun ho for that and went full blown. But and that's kind of like died down. That kind of, I'm not even sure if it exists. So it's not to give a tip. It's to say if you need help, if you're a victim, not to give a tip on someone is selling this or someone is doing this. This is outreach, if you will. Maybe that could be a need if we were to see that there.
That report.
That report, and then maybe we could fund it. I mean, not necessarily, they probably won't let us, but we could help
Create
get it.
the
Yeah.
Create the
Well,
initiative.
then we can advise the city on what to do.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great idea.
And what?
Yeah, we're-
We advise.
Because we're gonna ask for the report, right?
Right.
Yes.
Motion to adjourn.
Vamos a starting.
Motion to adjourn.
The first time I don't mind staying late.
What?
The meeting.
Because you're not-